What's going on, guys? Coach Aaron here, and today I am so excited because I'm bringing you guys a brand new series. Now in this series, I'm going to show you how I learn a new role in Overwatch, as well as just document the process as I rank up. Now, as most of you know, I am a Grandmaster support player. However, my tank role is only at plat, and it only peaked in diamond. And I want to show you the process that I take to actually climb the ladder in Overwatch. Everything from actually learning about the role, the practice schedule that I use, how to train effectively, and just the progress I make as I'm climbing. So let's start with the first step I take when I try to climb, and that's finding out your hero pool. A hero pool is a select amount of heroes that you decide to play before you make the climb. Now, the reason that you want to do this is because if you try to learn every single hero in the role, your progress will be significantly slowed. So if you want to climb at a significant pace, you need to pick a select amount of heroes and focus all of your energy on just learning those. For example, I play mostly Baptiste and Ana in the support role, and this made it so that I only need to learn 2 heroes to climb, and that significantly increased the rate at which I did climb. Something to consider when you're picking a hero pool is the fun factor of the hero. Listen, this climb is not easy. It comes with so much frustration and struggle. No way! No way! What the f***? The last thing you want is to be playing a hero that you don't enjoy. Another thing that you might want to consider is the maps. Certain maps favor certain heroes. Some simple examples include Reinhardt and King's Row, and Winston on Gibraltar. Now, there are a few types of map designs to make this decision easier. First, there are really flat maps. In terms of tanks, this favors tanks that don't have a lot of vertical mobility. Then there are maps with a lot of vertical elements. These favor tanks with a lot of mobility, like especially vertical mobility. Then there are maps that favor like sniper compositions, right? We think Circuit Royale, Junkertown. These maps honestly just kind of favored Sigma because there's really not a lot of poke in the game. Yay. Anyway, I am a firm believer that you don't need to pick based off maps if you're trying to get the GM. Now, don't get me wrong, it's gonna make your life so much easier if you do, but I don't think it's necessary because you can always learn the matchup and learn how to play on those maps, even with a tank or any other, hero that may not fit the map. You just got to be a little bit creative. It might make it a little bit harder. But I really do believe that you should always be going and picking a hero pool full of heroes that you just enjoy playing the most. Now, with this said, what's my hero pool? Well, my hero pool is going to consist of Zarya, Winston, and Reinhardt. And the reason I chose these tanks is simply because I just enjoy playing them. Step 2 is to watch a lot of content, and I mean a lot. I remember I was watching a video a while back about an Overwatch League pro who was speaking about just his path to pro. And something he said really stuck out to me. He said that the best way to improve is to watch more than you play. And honestly, this was so helpful. This is not to say that you don't play the game, okay? You need significant time playing the game, but you must understand simple, fundamental rules about your hero and your role. Now, the best way to learn these is by watching educational content. The best way to learn the game is to consume as much as you can about the game so that you understand it. Now, this game, it doesn't do a very good job at teaching people, and because good playing can still be punished, it's hard to tell what you should be repeating and what you shouldn't. So, what have I been watching to learn tank? Recently, I've been watching a lot of A10 because I found that the way that he teaches the tank role and just the game as a whole to be pretty helpful. From my understanding, he teaches the game as a game of resources. Now, each team has them, and it's your job to use those resources better than the enemy team. Now, I've also been watching a lot of Spylo, and if you know me, you know I love Spylo. I've been watching his content to learn how to play the heroes in my hero pool. And I have specifically put a lot of focus into Zarya, as I've just really enjoyed playing her a lot. I've been learning things about like bubble timing, obviously natural cover, my target priority, and just so many more things, and we'll get to that later. But once you start watching content, it might seem overwhelming at first, but don't get discouraged. Just soak up that knowledge the best you can, and then this leads us into step 3. Step 3 is implementation. So now that you have a good actual hero pool, and you've learned about the fundamentals of playing your role and your hero, now it's time to actually take those and implement them into your gameplay. Now this part is really difficult. You're gonna make constant mistakes. And this is the part where you're gonna have to have a really, really good mental. No way! Okay? The key thing to remember is that you are trying to implement a lot of knowledge into your gameplay. Now this might mean that you play worse than you actually did before you started learning. No, the reason is because you're actively trying things. You're trying to play a certain way that might be different than what you are used to. This might mean that areas of your play will get worse and you actually might take more losses in the process. But listen, don't get discouraged. This is part of the process, okay? To climb, you have to experiment. Experiment. Well, I don't know why I said that word. Anyway, if you're hard stuck gold and you continue to play how you normally play, you're not gonna climb. You're just gonna be hard stuck. However, if you learn and then you experiment, you might drop a few ranks at first, but then once you get it down, you're gonna be skyrocketing up the ranks. Now after that, step 4 is do VOD reviews. Now this is the part that everybody skips because honestly, it's boring. No one wants to go back and review their games. But the truth is, you need to know what mistakes you're making. And looking back at the game is just a surefire way of finding those mistakes. Now, you may watch a ton of content and have a ton of knowledge about how to play a hero. But if you don't know how you, yourself, are playing wrong, you will not improve. The VOD review is not to review your knowledge on the hero. It's actually to review the implementation of the knowledge. Now, step 5 is just simply repeat steps 2 through 4 until you get to GM. Now, these are the steps that I take to get to GM. But there's one crucial thing that we haven't talked about yet, and that is training schedule. Training schedule is going to be different depending on your overall goals for climbing in Overwatch. If you want to get to top 500, you're going to need much more practice than if you wanted to get to plat. Personally, for getting to GM, I like to aim for 3 to 4 hours of focused practice. Anything past that is just all muscle memory. The important thing to remember is that the more time you spend repeating these 5 steps, the quicker that you're going to improve. But keep your expectations realistic, but also be optimistic. Now, with all of the explanation out of the way, let's jump into some actual gameplay. The way that I'm going to be approaching this is that I'm going to break down certain gameplay that I felt like I improved in, and I'll explain my thought process and some of the concepts that I'm learning and how I'm actually implementing them. Sort of like a VOD review for myself, but this way you can actually see the learning process in action. I explained to you how I approach ranking up, but I want you to actually see it in action. So let's just jump right into it. This first gameplay I'm going to be showing you, I've been really working on a concept called kill boxes. I'll explain it when I get into there. So let's just jump straight into that. As I said, I'm going to be breaking this down, explaining my thought process, because I want to show you some of the things that I've been working on. Because I think the best way to show you is to show you actual examples in game. So right now, what I've been working on is a concept called kill boxes. So before we actually get into the gameplay, I'm going to explain what a kill box is, okay? A kill box is essentially an area of the map that your team controls. So if we look at this, obviously right now we're just setting up, but let's push forward to where the first team fight is. Okay, right now, our kill box is everything basically up to this bridge, okay? And the reason for that is because anywhere that our team can actively put pressure is going to be our kill box. So for example, if someone came up here, the Widow can shoot them, the Kiri can shoot them, the Ana can shoot them, correct? So we, to some extent, have some control over this, right? Now, however, if I went over here, yes, Widow can see, but this is not really in our kill box, okay? Over here is not really in our kill box. We can't really hurt them. So there is just this concept that, like, I explained it as, like, imagine a big a symmetry wall right here, okay? This is our space. Everything behind that symmetry wall is our space. And so I, as the tank, this is what I've been working on, is I don't want to push past that line. Anytime I come here and I peek this corner, I am breaking that line, okay? Because then I am taking now a 3v1, where if I let them walk into our space because we're on defense and stop them from passing this line too much, then they are in our kill box. So let me explain this a little bit. We'll talk about, if it's not making sense, that's okay. I need to work on explaining some things better, but also seeing it in action will help. So let's talk about my thought process here. So I rolled out top. I check behind because I want to see where my team is. What I'm doing is I'm essentially saying, where is my team playing? I want to play around them because I want to make sure that I'm constantly within our kill box. Okay. So I see that they TP on us, and I turn around, and you'll notice that I realize that my team isn't there with me. So if I were to try to fight for this space, I would be fighting for space that is not within our kill box. If you look, nobody is in position to actually support me. Okay? So I am breaking the line, right? If this area behind the bridge is our kill box, this is breaking it. Okay? So what I realized when I checked for my teammates, I realized I need to fall back. So I run back, and I get set up into our position. Now my goal is simply to just hold this position, okay? I do not want to let them walk through our space. Now, I notice that our Sombra had died here. And so my thought process is, now that the enemy team has more resources because they are up in players, I need to give some space, okay? It's like I'm trading the Sombra resources for some space. If I tried to hold this space, maybe we can win it, but they're going to overpower me with their more resources. So I'm going to fall back. And I tell my team to fall back, and I try to shield them out. Now I'm setting up at the next corner, because another thing that is really, really important for tanking, as far as I'm aware and what I'm learning, is corner usage. So here is another corner. So now if we let this play, now our kill box is different. Now where is our kill box? It's no longer over here, but rather it's right here, right? If we imagine another sim wall coming this way, this is our kill box. Now Widow even expands that a little bit more, so we might be able to say that's even here, okay? Right? Do you see this, like this diagonal line? This is now our kill box. And so we, like this big area here. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. But from here and then all the way back this way, right? This is our space, so I want to fight in this space. So my job is now just to wait for, now we're on Junkrat instead of Sombra, but wait for them to regroup. So what do? I don't push past the corner because that would be breaking the line. I make sure that my team is still with me, and then I fight for the space. When I see them walking towards me, I'm going to try and pressure them out. See what happens? If this Ramatra wants to peek around this corner, he has to now peek 3 of my teammates. Where if I peek around this corner, I have to peek 5 of his teammates, correct? And so my job is to sit behind this corner, wait for them to push me, and then I use my cooldowns, my resources to hold the space. I go for the right here because I feel like this is close enough and still within our space. Plus, they're squishy, so I'm going to try and kill them. This leads to, I believe I get a kill here. Yes. Now we are up in resources. Now I can push the line a little bit further, right? Now I would have the resources to actually push aggressively. I decide not to, but on hindsight, I realized that I may have been able to. I push back the Ramatra because he's walking into my space. I check for my team, and he has now broken the line. Do you understand? So he is using his resources to try to take space, but what he failed to realize is that his team is not with him. And because he broke the line, I'm able to shatter him and punish him for overextending. And he's dead. All right, and then Moira tries to get into our space, so I'm going to try and push her out. I try to swing on her, and I realize that I can't go much further because if I go any further, I'm going to break the line. So I try to peel and give up some space. Now, the thing is, I noticed that there's a lot of ultimates being used, and we're not using ultimates back other than the tire and the kitsune, right? But I noticed that I'm low and that they have a lot more resources right now. They have the advantage. So my play is to simply just back off. Use my shield, stay alive, back off, give up space, give up space, give up space. As soon as I get nanoed, I then can tell, hey, I now have the resources to push in because they just used all of their resources. You understand? So Moira walked in, she used her coalescence. Ramacho walked in, used his ultimate to take space, but now it's my turn. I was low on resources, I back up, I give space. They use their resources, I get nano. Now I have the resource advantage, now I'm gonna push. And I know that I can push aggressively here because I know that we're up. Not only did Junkrat get a kill with his tire, our Widow just got a kill on the Moira, I can push up. I'm checking our team to make sure that no one, that I'm still getting follow-up. Kill the Ramatra, kill the Sombra. All right, let's go to offense. Offense is going to be a little bit different, okay? Because instead of, here's the thing. In defense, if our line is this choke right here, I don't have to leave that choke unless they push me out of it. But on offense, we have to push the objective to take space. So how do you take space? Because you're going to be breaking the line, right? I'm going to break the line. So I need to use my resources to go from one corner to another corner. And then I need to reset, let my resources regroup, refill, and then also let my team take the space that I just made for them. Then I'm going to take a little bit more space. Maybe I go this way. Maybe I go this way. I take this space. And I go sequentially. You take space slowly. You give your time to your team time to follow up with you. So instead of holding the kill box, what you're doing is you're pushing their kill box back. You're saying, no, I'm going to use my resources to push into your space. So let's see how I do with that. So I push up to the corner, and I check for my team. I'm going to swing on the Zarya. If you look what just happened. The Zarya used a resource of hers. Okay? So now they are down in resources where I'm playing Reinhardt, who's not very cooldown reliant. So I have resources. I still have my shield. I still have a lot of HP, but they're now down on a bubble. So I start swinging. Now I get low, and I use my shield to hold the space that I'm taking, and I see another bubble. So I stop swinging, and I fall back a little bit to make sure that I get healed up, right? I'm low. Once I get healed up, I know that Zarya doesn't have 2 bubbles, okay? She has no bubbles right now, so we are in a resource advantage. On top of that, I killed a Genji, so we're also on a player advantage. So I know that I can push in aggressively. So this is what I do. Wait for my resources. I see that they're isolated, and I push in on them. Then I see that Zarya is isolated, and I push in on them. So the mistake that I could have made is I could have went ham and pressed W, used all my resources, back up, and then they used their resources to finish us off. But what I did instead was I held this corner, I pushed, I played tug of war with the tank, go back, go forth, and then when I have an opportunity to push, whether I'm in a resource advantage or they make a mistake by overextending or something like that, then I push. All right, now I see that they're on Reinhardt, and once again, now the cart is going to be contested. So I'm going to sit at this corner and play into my space. I'm going to make sure that I am playing within our kill box. Remember, if I walk past this corner, I better have the resources to do it, or else I'm going to die. So I'm going to sit at the corner. I'm going to wait for an opportunity. I see the sleep, and I go for the charge. Now, that is a really risky, high-risk, high-reward play, okay? But I saw an opportunity to punish, and I went on it. Then I look back, see that my team's getting pressured by Reinhardt, and I just hold up my shield, play my life, back up, back up, back up, give space. You understand, if they are being pressured, if my backline's being pressured, I cannot take space by myself, so I'm going to back up, I'm going to give them space, and I'm going to work on peeling. Keep playing my life here, right? Reaper used Wraith, he's dead. He overextended. You see what he did? He overextended into our kill box. Now he's dead because the enemy Reinhardt got out through TP. At least I think they got out through TP. But because, Reaper overextended, I get a kill. He used his Wraith cooldown. We have a resource advantage. Now we're up in people. I know that I can push aggressively. And GG. I hope that you found this information useful. Maybe you learned something. And if you did, please drop a like, maybe a share, maybe hit that subscribe button. It seriously helps me out. It helps support me to keep making this content for you. And if you like the stuff that you see and you want to see me do it live, I stream every single Friday. So maybe come check that out. You're missing out on a lot of fun. I play a lot of comp. I'm working on the things that I talked about in this video, as well as maybe future things. You might get snippets of, things that I'm working on in the future. It's also a good place to just see my progress live, other than just these videos. I am going to be uploading multiple parts for this so that you guys can track my progress and see what I'm learning and what I'm working on. But yeah, if you want to see that, check me out live. It's really fun. On top of just the comp games, we also always do viewer games where I get to sit down with you guys and play some quick play, maybe play some arcade. I don't know. It really depends on the day, but you're missing out on a lot if you're not checking out those streams. So go check those out every single Friday. And if you want to get notified, join my Discord. There's a wonderful, wonderful community full of so many wonderful people that just care about each other. Join that Discord. You're missing out if you're not in it. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Leave a share, leave a subscribe. It helps me out so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Coach out.